I gotta say, just having been immersed with your work in the last couple of days,
You clearly have.
capturing the moment is so much more. I mean, it'd be nice to have it great in Panavision or DSLR or whatever,
Yeah.
but Allen Iverson, when he had that private graduation ceremony,
Right.
I mean that's a home camera, but that's like
It's beautiful.
beautiful.
It's a beautiful
that's-
moment.
you
It's
see
the most humanizing moment.
Yeah.
For him in the movie, and
Right.
it doesn't matter that it was shot by a guy that was a professional, and that was he was just documenting it for the family, and thank God he did.
All the things that happened to me, when I get my second chance, I wanted to prove to myself, man, that I could do this, get this done, and prove to all the people that thought that I couldn't do it.
Without that lady, there's no way I would be where I'm at right now. This is a white lady, and when people talk about that racism stuff, nah, not in every case.
When she died, Alan sent a huge bouquet, and I could tell from the note that he wrote that he really did appreciate what she had done for him.
Alan, even when he still talks about it now, is touched by it.
Absolutely.
Have you been discouraged to a point, particularly in something like Hoop Dreams, where you thought, I want to quit, or maybe I should do something else?
No, I have to say that I get into every film that I do. I really get into every film I do, and I know certain films are going to be better than others. You feel it. When I was making The Interrupters, I felt in my bones that this is going to be a film of the films I've done that I'm going to be particularly proud of. I think So you feel differences between the films, but every film I do, I get into because I'm obsessive and focused, and I love what I do. So I've never wanted to quit. I think sometimes I wish that I didn't have to be on such a treadmill of filmmaking. And to say this, I know there'll be people who watch this who are struggling to get films made who'll basically say, well, fuck him. It's like, I'd love to be on a treadmill. But sometimes I feel like I have to make films much faster, believe it or not, than I want to. And that's just because of the economics of the situation. I have to finish a film. I have a certain amount of time and budget to finish it, and I have to finish it.
But it's hard to schedule what's next and so forth, isn't it?
No, well, that's why I have to. It's a juggling act for me. I have to, when I'm finishing one film, I have to be thinking and planning and putting into place the next film.
So you do have developments of what's going to be next?
I have to, because I'm not on salary anywhere.
Right.
If I'm not making a film, I don't eat, and my family doesn't.
and you can't have a different crew going to keep up with the different documentary while you're filming.
I don't like making a bunch of films at once.
Yeah.
I mean, I have juggled films out of necessity, but I'm not one of those filmmakers.
You don't want to be factory.
No, I love to get into one film at a time and devote myself to that film.
It deserves that attention.
And then move on to the next one. But I still have to be realistic. I can't be so focused that I don't have the next thing coming down the pike, or I'll have months where I'm not getting any money, and I can't do that. Not with 3 kids in college.
Right. Yeah, wow. Are you a fan of reality shows? Do you watch any reality shows? I mean, they're everywhere now, obviously.
I don't really watch hardly any reality television. I mean, I've seen some over the years, and the reality television that I like is the stuff that hews more closely to being authentically real, like a documentary. There was one that was on the air some years ago about this high-end chef starting a new restaurant. I can't remember what the series was called. He was a bit of an asshole.
Rocco?
Yeah. He was a bit of an asshole, but he was interesting. And it was an interesting world that we were privy to through the series. It didn't last long, and I didn't like the way it was edited, but it was interesting material. The problem with most reality television, for me, is that it tends to be about people I don't have any interest in, and because they're mostly people who want to be famous. And I'm more interested in people who have no interest in being famous. I'm interested in people who actually think no one is interested in them. And because to me, they're the most interesting subjects. The best interviews for me over the years are with people who don't think they're worth interviewing. the people who say, "Oh, why would you want to talk to me? I don't really have anything to say." It's like, no, actually, it's the people who don't think they have anything to say that usually have the most to say, because they're usually the most thoughtful. And so reality television is sort of diametrically opposed to what I do. Interestingly enough, I've read over the years that Hoop Dreams helped give birth to reality television, because they looked at the fact that we followed people over time and were there as their lives were unfolded and thought there's something there. And I hope that's not true.
Well, there's the reality shows that are sort of like documentary type.
Right, and those are the ones I like best.
Even on MTV, The Hills or whatever,
right.
Or about the top models or whatever. There's a competition.
But even those kind, they're manipulating situations.
Oh, absolutely, and they're cast too.
They're cast, and it's very kind of, it's really, as a friend of mine says, most reality television is a documentary about events that never really happened.
Right. However, some of the real interactions when somebody's really angry.
They're authentic, but
they're so authentic that actors wouldn't be able to act that good.
No, they're authentic, but the problem with a lot of them is that they're over things that I don't care about.
Oh, yeah.
And they're between people who've been put in situations precisely to fight.
Right.
And so I can't. It's like the Jerry Springer show. For me, the people in Stevie that film is about are the people that are the kind of people, socioeconomically, where they're from, who they are, that you would find on a Jerry Springer show. But to me, there's a huge difference between a film like Stevie and the Jerry Springer show, because a film like Stevie is about real people in real situations that they're coping and grappling with. And I hope that you come out of that film actually feeling for them and understanding them. Whereas shows like reality shows and shows like Jerry Springer are not about understanding people. They're about looking at people as spectacles and laughing at them or shaking your head at them and going, these people are nuts.
I saw in a interview where you said, because you live in Chicago, right?
Yes.
But you were born in Virginia.
Yes.
You grew up in Virginia.
You know everything about me.
Where Allen Iverson and Michael Vick, and they're all from the Bay Area.
That's right.
You said when Allen was a young man in high school, he was a beautiful looking kid at one point.
Yeah.
But then you see in the NBA how worn out he is in the battle scars.
Yeah.
Which is, I thought, because you think about it, that's a very interesting take, because here most people think this guy's got hundreds of millions and he's got all the cars and the houses and the girlfriends and whatever, but he's got the battle scars of everything that he's been through. I mean, he's the Darth Vader, you know what I mean? He's a real anti-hero.
That's right.
But I was thinking about that was a very interesting point. And then I saw William Gates at the when he got his high school diploma.
Yeah.
And how you sort of realize, my God, this kid really went through a lot in those 4 years.
Yes.
The surgeries and the
Yes.
trying to make it, get into college, and the whole family problem. And same as Arthur too.
Absolutely.
Then I thought about what you said about AI again, and what AI must have gone through even before he went to Georgetown.
Absolutely. Well, I think that my neighbor where I live, when Hoop Dreams came out, he's like this Polish guy and came from kind of working class stock but a big sports fan. And he said to me after he'd seen the film, he said, I watch a lot of sports. I watch a lot of basketball. And he goes, after seeing the movie, when I watch the games now, I think about each of those guys and wonder, what's their story? Like, how did they get here? What did they go through to get here? He said, I never thought about that before. I just thought of them as like, they're great athletes, or they're not that great, or I thought of them in this one dimension, and now I think about them and wonder who they really are, which I thought was wonderful.
In every major state too.
Yes, and which I thought was wonderful, because it's like, I think that's what a film like Hoop Dreams did for some people, which is that it made you think about, when you watch pro basketball or college basketball,
the impact that Hoop Dreams and I think Trial of Allen Iverson made was to really begin to see what these people go through to get to that point.
Yeah, and with a guy like Allen Iverson, one of the things that's so fascinating about him is that he has his ardent defenders, people who love him, love what he stands for, love his game, and he has his ardent detractors. And to me, that's a great subject, you know, as someone like him. And so I hoped by doing this film,
So polarizing.
no matter how you feel about him, that you at least you understand something more about him from having seen this film about how he got from there to here.
You're a former basketball player yourself, and you follow NBA.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll ever get the props as one of the?
Well, I think he's definitely a Hall of Fame player.
Absolutely.
So he's going to get his props in that regard. I think that.
But he's still going to be in the Patrick Ewing, Karl Malone.
Yes. Well,
Charles Barkley.
He didn't win a championship,
right?
And because he was so polarizing. Because I think for everybody who says that he got every ounce of out of his talent of being this scrawny little guy who threw himself into it the way he did, there will be people who say, yeah, but he was selfish, he was immature, he was a disruptive force on his teams, you know, all those things. So I think his legacy is always going to be mixed, even among basketball fans, and also, of course, the general public.
He was the guy that came in, got companies to get into that kind of marketing of tattoos and his whole image of being from the hood and being proud of it.
Absolutely. No, I mean, when he had the cornrows and was doing the tattoos, it was controversial when he was first doing it. And look at it now. Look, every player in the league has tattoos, including, you know, white guys from the suburbs. I mean, it's like, you know, it's just part of the culture now, and he was part of making that happen.